Alright guys, Noah here with CustomRCMods, coming at you with another plane build project. This one is obviously for the FT Explorer. Now, this is the third rendition of this airplane, obviously the one in pieces, so it's time to go ahead and make some well-deserved upgrades, as well as, of course, changes that will affect the way the plane flies and the durability factor of this design all around, and implement those into my 4.0 version. Now, this one actually had a rather short life, and you guys might just think that, hey, just like all the other FT Explorers, the wing folded and that was the end of it. Well, actually, as you can see right here, I had a carbon fiber spar in this wing, and that really wasn't the main reason why I'm choosing to scrap it. The main reason was that I had some problems keeping my motor on the airplane, which actually seems kind of weird because it's a pusher airplane, so the motor's not being pulled out. Technically, the motor's actually being pushed into the back of the firewall, kind of like that. But essentially, my 3D printed firewall was only like 20% infill, so it was really hard for the screws to grab onto the material in the firewall all around. So that ended up leading to the motor just exploding off anytime there's any imbalance in the prop or motor setup all around, and that would of course lead to wrinkles and tearing into the actual plane itself when the motor, coming off at high speeds would kind of tear into the plane just like that. So overall, it's just not in great shape. Add the wing snapping just like that, and then there you have it. And as you can see, I actually have a carbon fiber spar in here, and I didn't actually fold the wings like you typically do where they go up like that on the load. Actually, it was just from hitting things. When I dive into the ground, the wing actually kind of came back like that, and it opened it up from the front there. So I ended up snapping it the rest of the way and just throw it in the car for transport back home to throw away. So that's the rundown on this plane right here. So along with just some more wing reinforcement, maybe popsicle sticks or barbecue skewers, along with that carbon fiber spar, I'm going to go ahead and print my motor mount this time at 100% infill, and also make some slight design changes to the power pod itself to be a little bit stronger, and things like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about a few other little things. There will be miscellaneous cosmetic differences with this. Like, I went ahead and went for like a Skyvan look. As you can see right here, I like it kind of, but I'm probably going to make some sort of modifications, at least to the way I do the windows, something like that. And of course, just other things that I'll kind of find out on the spot. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before we get into electronics is going to be my landing gear. And I do want to add some landing gear for this because this thing glides really well. And of course, being a heavier plane, when you land it, it tends to skid longer. And as you might expect, you get a lot of mud and things like that on the plane. So not only for the joy of landing RC planes, but also just for the fact that it'll keep the plane nicer, I'm just going to add some 3D printed landing gear to this airplane, and I'm going to keep it in the tail dragger configuration. I was actually considering doing some sort of just tricycle landing gear, but I decided to go for tail dragger because that's more of what the Sky Surfers and the Bixlers have. So most of these style airplanes do tail draggers, so I'm going to do that. Just this 3D printed landing gear set that I've used on other planes, as well as these 2-inch wheels. I'm going to keep the wheels small just so that it doesn't add a lot of weight or drag. This plane does fly pretty fast, so again, I don't really want to have too much drag on there as well. So let's go ahead and talk about my electronics now. They're all going to stay the same. I'll run through them really quickly. 4 9-gram servos. I've got the Lemon RX 6-channel receiver with the satellite that's running, of course, DSMX. And then that's pretty much it for everything on the plane right now. I went ahead and swapped out the current motor setup a while ago to the simple stick. So I am going to be replacing it with a Sunny Sky A2216 1250 kV motor, and then the same ZTW 30 amp ESC. It's essentially the same setup. It's just a different line of motors from Sunny Sky, but the ratings are all still the same. So other than that, there's really not much to say. Overall, I'm pretty excited to get this done, and hopefully once we get it done, I will have a plane that's not going to fail me like this original one did. So I'm going to stop the babbling. It's time to go ahead and get into the actual build of this plane. Let's go ahead and head up to the time lapse now. Alright guys, so as you can see here, my FT Explorer build has been completed, and of course being a larger plane by nature is going to take a little bit longer to build, but by no means was it complicated. So if you're a beginner looking for a good second or third build, maybe with that 3-channel beginner wing, or maybe even an advanced pilot, of course with the sport wing like I have done here, this might be an excellent option for you, and the build is very gratifying all around. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the modifications that I've made to this plane, and of course there are quite a few. Obviously the ones that I touched on originally, there is a carbon fiber rod in the wing here, that arrow shaft once again, and I did also go ahead and stiffen the wing with popsicle sticks and barbecue skewers in the front and back, just so it won't have any of that flex on the, I guess, lateral, I don't even know, side, kind of like we had last time that really wreaked havoc on my last model. So hopefully that should strengthen up the wing quite a bit. I also went ahead and dug my servos into the wings here. You won't be able to see them, but it's just the little control horn sticking out. It's kind of like how the FT Goblin does it, or the FT Versa wing, where basically the entire servo is built into the actual wing here, but the little servo arm sticks out. And that's really nice and clean, and of course keeps the servo protected. So yeah, on my tail servos, I went ahead and did something a little bit different. Instead of mounting them inside the tail boom, I decided to go ahead and mount them on the back here. As you can see, it is obviously not looking as nice as being all concealed. However, these are going to be very easy to service if I ever have any issues with them, which is something that I find a little bit more important, especially on my tail servos that are going to be throwing a lot of wind around and overall just having a lot of control effect. So yeah, very happy with that as well. Also, I do want to talk about my tail boom for a second. This tail boom has been slightly shortened by about 2 inches, and that will compensate for my CG, as well as it will give it a little bit more snappy tendencies, because I want this to be a fun acro plane. So I went ahead and again shortened it a little bit, just so it's not, you know, way out there, and it's a little bit easier to turn, especially on that pitch axis. So I also went ahead and dug in my satellite receiver cable that goes to my receiver out to my satellite right there as well. Thought I'd go ahead and mention that. But other than that, that is the main thing for this tail boom. You might be noticing here, I do have a pretty beat up nose on here. This is the same nose off the original plane. I am going to be using this one for the Maiden, just in case we have any mishaps or anything like that. But as you can see, I have a brand new nose that I'll go ahead and slap on once I get more confident flying this thing. And I don't want to, of course, mess this up if I don't have to. So this one's going to be the one I use right now. Other than that, it's pretty stock all around. My motor mount is, you know, just how it's supposed to be. I went ahead and glued all that stuff in just like I normally do with my power pods, just so that we don't have any wiggle or it coming loose later down the road. That's definitely something if you want some good performance out of your flight test airplanes. Putting that motor mount solidly in place is really going to help from any vibrations or jitters that you want to get out of your flying experience. So the last thing I want to touch on, obviously, is something that you've probably been staring at this entire segment, right here, these landing gear. And these are the same 3D printed landing gear that I used on my Simple Stick, that I used on my Simple Scout, that I'm putting on my FT Bushwhacker if I rebuild that plane. This is just a very, very versatile print, and of course, as you can see, we've got the skis on there right now. And again, same exact setup. They go nice and up just like that, so we can fly off skis pretty darn easily. I'm really happy with that, because hopefully, of course, it will keep this plane nicer for longer. I won't have to belly land it and get it all muddy, and that's really the main draw to these landing gear as well. And then, of course, I needed some sort of tail skid, so I went ahead and put this piece of a paint stick right here on the bottom by the tail, just so that we can go ahead and skid around on that rather than messing up my foam. And I covered the entire bottom in packing tape like I normally do, as well as I went ahead and covered up the lower, first lower layer of this foam just with some packing tape, again, just so stuff like this doesn't happen, where the foam, where the dirt goes, stays off the bottom of the foam, but then it gets up on the side here pretty easily. So hopefully we prevented that, but only time will tell as we get to flying this thing more and more. Now, speaking of flying this thing, let's go ahead and get this thing ready to go. As you can see, I pull off the nose here, and I've got my 2200 milliamp hour battery right here. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. And as you can see, so as you can see, I've got my ailerons, got my elevator, my rudder, of course, and then I'm going to show you the throttle. Even got a little bit of rudder flutter off of that. So, whew, I don't know, guys. We're gonna go ahead and see how this thing flies. I'm super excited to get this thing up in the air. Hopefully we have some good success. But again, we'll only know that if we go ahead and fly it. So let's head out for the maiden flight now. Alright guys, so we just pulled up to the park, and as you can see, don't really have a lot of options for ski planes. There's only a few small patches of snow left, so I don't know. And we're quickly losing light, so I just gotta go ahead and get this Maiden over with, as well as, of course, the wind factor that you can see by the trees right there, jittering all around and all the flags. Oh my gosh. I don't know, this is definitely gonna be a bit sketchy, but I think it's just something we gotta get done, so let's go ahead and get to the flight. Alright, so we're up. This thing's flying fine. I decided to take off from the asphalt because that's where the skis work best. The grass is just absolutely terrible for these skis. And this plane's actually flying pretty darn good already. Definitely needs a little bit of elevator trim. But the elevator's manageable. My roll seems to be pretty good too. It's interesting with the skis for sure. Definitely affects the looks of the plane. Had to just do some basic aerobatics there. Not totally sure. I think I need to up my aileron rates a little bit. I thought they were pretty high, but maybe I could use a little more. But yeah, she's flying pretty darn smooth, and the Sunny Sky motors have never failed me for this. So I'm not surprised, but this A2216 motor definitely lays down the power and looks to be pretty good. You can see I've got good elevator throw, which is always appreciated on big planes. So I don't really think I have too much to say about that. We're just gonna go ahead and cruise around here. Try not to do anything dumb with this plane on its very first flight, and hopefully bring it in for a safe landing at the end. Definitely feels a lot more agile just because of that shorter boom. It's not, such a pain to lug around. It definitely shortens the length of this airplane. I mean, it's not significant, but you can definitely feel it compared to my old Explorers, if you've ever flown it before. It makes it really, really good on the pitch axis, and also makes the rudder a little bit more effective too. This thing is one of the best planes I've ever flown for coordinated turning. So if you're looking for a plane that's really going to be good, needs some rudder mixing of course, this is going to be right up your alley there. Doesn't quite have full vertical, but that's okay. It still has plenty of power and speed. It's pretty close. And I've just been flying at mainly like 3/4 throttle. Let's start flying at half throttle a little more. Try to fly smoothly a little bit. Still need some trim up there on the elevator. Yeah, it feels really controlled. This is definitely the best Explorer I've flown, I think, so far. I could pretty easily say that, just because it feels the most controlled. I made some well-needed upgrades and reinforcements. In the past, my wings have been kind of, I guess the rubber band mounting to the fuselage has been a little bit insufficient. So anytime I give some rudder or pitch, or even roll, the wings kind of don't want to go with the fuselage. So definitely good that we've added some extra rubber bands on there as well. And my wings are super strong. So overall, really good improvements that are going to help this plane fly better. And it's definitely come to fruition here in this maiden flight. Yeah, it flies effortlessly. It's pretty easy, lots of fun. I mean, it's not crazy. I'm not gonna try to do anything too wild. Obviously, I don't want to break this thing or crash it or get mud on it on the maiden flight. And obviously, being in a situation where the snow just melted, all the grass is wet, and with these aeration pellets that I keep talking about in all my flying videos, yeah, it's just a big mud pit. So really don't have a large margin for error on this airplane when it comes to landing. So I think I'm gonna go over there to that snow strip to do a landing in the snow. That may not be the best move. I don't have flaps on this plane yet, so I still need to work on my programming, but either way, wind's coming from the north, which is the way we're facing right now. So it's coming right at us. So this will be a downwind pass. And I'm just gonna see if I can set up a little basic approach right here on this strip
and we'll see how it goes. So, that's not too bad. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to get it a little bit earlier just so that I don't run out of strip and eventually nose this over. But remember that I do have that messed up old Explorer nose on here, so I'm not too concerned. But yeah, okay, that's a very high approach. Let's do a little touch and go maybe. Huh, that'll do. Yeah, so that's gonna happen as soon as you hit the grass because that's dry. Alright guys, so that's gonna wrap it up for the video. This thing flew great, besides of course losing the landing gear there at the end. But either way, I'm super excited to keep flying this thing, and I'll definitely be making more content with it as I do. So if you guys haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It would really mean a lot, as well as like and comment on the video if you have any thoughts or questions, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.